are back in a whole new format following our recent episode, mate. It's about, week 10 days now out. How are you and the team feeling?
Still very numb. Still doesn't feel real. Very, very surreal, the whole thing. And haven't came to terms with it yet. But obviously, I feel a bit better that we managed to get an email out to everyone this week, just with a bit of an update. Not as much of an update as we would like to give, as everyone would like us to give, but we have came out with a bit of an update. And it's just, again, keeping everyone in the loop, because I think a few of the comments that were made when people have replied to them, they say, we get it, we just want to have an update. Yeah, like it's when you don't get an answer, I think, that people get frustrated, understandably. So obviously we're just, again, giving everyone a little update that we are still working around the clock. The team are on it as we speak. With the insurers and the ticketing partners, and just hopefully get everyone an answer on rescheduled timelines and things like that. Scheduled timelines, for refunds and processes and everything like that. And we will come out with another email as soon as the guys get the answer.
Yeah.
So obviously, again, I don't want to bring the mood down. Obviously, we did last week's episode, and thank you for doing that, because it was a bit of a break from what we normally do, but everyone agreed it was important to address it. But I appreciate we are here to have a laugh. We are here to tell some cool stories and have some fun. So,
and more importantly, the football season is back.
No. Let's not talk about football today.
No, it's anybody that doesn't like football, just turn it off.
Okay,
because it is going to be.
Well, there's only one person with a winning start to the season so far. Carlisle went down. The Borough lost to Coventry.
Mate, we've lost 2 games in a row.
Because you've had 2 games. I think we. All right, okay. The weekend we lost Oxford.
So obviously, I have a season ticket. Normally, I go.
Have you sold it yet?
Nobody will take it. Nobody will take it.
Give it away, man.
But he's happy he didn't look into that box now.
First week was obviously when LooseCast was on, so I didn't look. Yeah. The worst day of my life, probably. And at the end of the day, I'm like, can one thing cheer me up? I put the Borough score on, and we got beat 1-0 that day. I was like, it couldn't get any worse.
And you've just lost 3-0. You just lost your star striker, your star man,
to Ajax
as well.
Yeah. Have you gone on a transfer somewhere?
Says star striker, not goalkeeper.
So what happened? You first game of the season, you toddled yourself down to St James's Park, expecting I
wobbled myself down to St James's Park, mate. There was a couple of light beverages.
What time did you? It was a 5:30 kickoff. What time did you think he met in town? 5:30 kickoff.
11 a.m.
Oh, fucking, I'm not outraged, mate.
You said half 11.
It was 20 past 1. 20 past 1. Yeah. Went to see your friend at Point Blank.
Oh,
went to see your Maras.
Jake there?
He wasn't. He was off. He was 10-pin bowling with the missus. So we watched the early game. What's the Arsenal? What was the first game? Arsenal.
Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, shite. I tell you what wasn't shite though. Newcastle Aston Villa, mate. That was fucking amazing.
Incredible.
It was amazing.
Well, this sets us up nicely, actually. I did see our guest today on Instagram, on his story. He was there.
Yeah.
Match. He posted, and he was obviously
I've got some questions about that as well, because he went to Wembley. He actually recorded like a new rhyme for when Gateshead went to Wembley recently. So I'm going to ask him where his real loyalties lie when we get him in the hot seat later on.
Do you know what? Obviously, I wish it was better circumstances we were bringing him on, because we'll talk about it later on. There was some really cool stuff sorted, but bloody hell, I'm excited to have him on today. When we talked about who we had as guests coming up, this is one that I was really excited for.
It was one that was suggested by a lot of people as well from my side.
So what's kind of your history with Tazo? Like, what's your history with, like, obviously maybe you've got to know him or meet him recently because of the festival and the club and stuff, but what's your like history going back?
I feel like I was going to say, have I set myself up for this previously with a bit that I'd said? Because I said to someone the other day, I was like, I'm going to press him. I used to be able to MC,
right?
As I showed you before.
Is that what that was?
Okay. I used to have decks back in the day in my room, like
right.
Nice.
When you know that's not MCing.
Nah,
yeah.
but I could MC over it. It was just the background tune. You got to MC
triple
over it.
threat.
But I was going to say when Shaq in episode 1, when Shaq was talking about the decks that he had, I nearly jumped in and said I had some similar ones with some bit background music that I could.
They've got them turny things on them, and you put the things on top of them. And
did you have tapes or CDs, or did you have like
CDs?
So you had CDs, like with the new Monkey CDs with it, right? Okay.
Yeah. Again, not going to do it.
Market specials.
I could do it. I could do it. But I think I got into Eminem later in life. I just like the fast lyrics.
Have you not thought about? Because you recently said to me you were thinking about DJing. Have you not thought about getting back into MCing?
Well, what we on? Well, I don't know. I might ask today. Shaq said I could come to Ibiza with him. Yeah. See what Tazo says today.
Yeah.
Hey, there could be a.
What is the MC name?
Yeah. Did you have an MC name?
No, I don't.
Adaboo.
You definitely do.
Sorry,
because I can see it in your eyes.
I actually didn't have it.
I saw it flash across his mind.
He did Adaboo, so I can't lie.
Right.
I didn't have an MC name. I was just laughing because I was like, it is something that I would do. Like, why didn't I have one?
We did get this. I ordered this on eBay for you. This is the German. This is the German version. It's a PlayStation game, but Anth has got a PlayStation, so we reckon we could give it a go. And it's just something we can probably just, we can put it up there in the background. We can just have it, have it as a decoration. Yeah, so, German Adaboo.
So when I used to play it, obviously again, for anyone who...
Was it you and two other people you said you played it on that Sam Lavery episode?
Yeah, Sam was just absolutely rinsing us that nobody would play it. So I just basically said, well, no, my sister played and my mum saw us play it. So it was just like... But no, I do actually know a few other people who have played it when they were younger, also losers. But
Can I just say Dean's sister's got to be a guest at some point? Just for childhood stories.
But we actually get on very well now. But again, as more siblings, we didn't when we were younger.
Which was too busy handing your arse at Adaboo.
No, was it a competitive game? No,
I don't think so.
Is it just like a Rain Man type thing, or like what was Rain Man?
You said you like made cakes.
You will find out when you play this.
I will.
Bring it in. Just one of the sections.
I will dig it.
Anyway, we won't bore people with this, but again, if anyone was wondering what the hell Adaboo is, it was from an episode with Sam. If you want to make sure somebody does not lie at all, and you've got to say Adaboo, and they can't lie at all. So there we go, Adaboo. I like it.
Stick it back up there. Try and block out some of those awards because Adaboo's far more important.
It was important, to be fair. There we go.
Have you, I believe, on an intro never to be seen by the greater public, discussed what footwear you might have had for LooseCast and for LooseFest, and you said you were going to get some Doc Martens?
Brave and bold decision.
Was the purchase actually made?
Yeah, I've got them. They'll be going back.
Right.
I never wore them.
Because was this passed through the committee?
So what we're going to do is we're going to bring up this because, there's nothing wrong with the committee. The committee... obviously we did do this. Unfortunately, this episode can't go out, or this intro can't go out because of obviously circumstances that happened after, which we're devastated about. But we did talk about the committee, and they were gutted when I said that episode wouldn't air. So shout out to the committee. The committee is basically, you're both not in the committee yet. Yeah.
Not trusted, mate. Not trusted.
The committee was basically formed in about 2018, 2019.
Okay, pre-pandems.
Yeah. And I think we were just, I wanted to do it was an announcement status. We were releasing something. Okay. And I was just getting the wording right. So I just had a couple of my mates who I was with, and I was like, what do you think of this wording? Does it make sense?
It's like a business thing.
Yeah. Originally. And obviously it was just kind of getting the opinion of my mates. And they were like, they give us their thoughts. Anyway, a bit later on, I needed to put something else out. So I was like, right, I'm not with them this time. I'll make a group chat. So I made a group chat. I was like, committee assemble, right? So we got a few of the guys, and we just basically said, it became a thing to proof work originally, to proof work statuses.
Yeah.
But then as time went on, it then got to proof and outfits and proof and that, not in a bad way, but as in what trainers should someone wear, or what boots should someone wear. But as we quite said in the last episode, it's really just one where everyone tells me how to dress and
and you
how to speak.
I've just got visions of Dean in full-length mirrors.
What do you think?
Does this work for tonight? Does this not work for tonight? Yeah, that's what I'm visioning.
That's what the committee's there for. You know what I mean? So you heard of the committee. We do need to get some of the committee members on, because the committee members, a lot of the guys have their own businesses, so there'll be some cool stories there. So we'll get a couple of the guys on in future.
And they had ratified the choice of Dr. Martens, had they?
No, I think we wanted Timberlands. Timberlands got the vote.
Got the shout.
There was a poll. There was a poll in the committee chat.
Honestly, they're advanced, these guys.
They are. However, it wasn't that advanced because we went for the Timberlands and then I got the Doc Martens, but there was no...
Did you actually purchase the Doc Martens, or did someone get them for you?
If Sam got her own way, it would be Anth who was sent in to get them. I said, if I ever asked you to go purchase something for me, you would tell me to swivel.
Depends what it is.
Yeah, if it was an oven.
If it was work related, you would.
But it would just depend on what it is. If you were like, Anth, please go and find me the finest Slipknot t-shirt, mate, I would happily go and do that for you. Yeah. If you went, Anth, go to All Saints and get us a t-shirt, I would say something that's not on the same lines as what I said before.
But no, I did go, me and the guys went to get some stuff, and the girl who helped us was absolutely lovely and brilliant, and she was a big help.
Did you try them on?
Yeah, I did.
And you bought brand new Doc Martens. And did you tell the shop assistant what they were for?
Yeah.
She wasn't any help then.
Nah, not
this right now.
Yeah, I mean, what are you saying? Because it
they would have destroyed
your feet would have just been a cluster of water balloons.
Yeah. Because they take ages to wear in. Like you're supposed to kind of like wear them, I think, gradually around the house and all sorts and build up.
The old school suggestion of it from back in the day was that
soak them in water.
You run a hot bath and you put them on, tie them as tight as you possibly can, then sit in your bath with them with your Doc Martens in the warm water to try and get them.
Where'd you get them from?
Metro Centre.
Which shop?
Shoe, which is now moved.
Yeah, I heard some rumours about
now,
this.
Isn't it?
Yeah, well. Yeah, it seemed a similar size.
Size feet are you?
Oh, we're going deep on this podcast.
Yeah, what size feet are you?
10, I think.
Get lost.
I am 10.
You're only a 10.
I'm an 11.
Do you want
You're
me to
massive.
check right now for you?
So you went. So you.
These are 10.5.
10.5, fair enough. Are you going to take them back? Because I feel like
no, I'm going to ask Anth to take them back. I'm putting the seat.
Your type's used to shopping in there, mate.
I said I would never ever. I said to Sam, I looked her dead in the eye. I said, Adaboo. I said I would never ask Anth to go in and buy something for me. I think that's disrespectful. I never mentioned about taking stuff back. I think you could do that for me.
Because you have previously said that you just don't take stuff back.
Yeah, but these were expensive, weren't they?
Yeah, 160 quid.
Something like that. But again, like they were needed because trainers were no good.
I think.
What would have you done if it went ahead, right, and you had them and they got caked in mud? What would you then do?
I would
with
have
them?
kept them.
Yeah, but when do you feel you would ever wear them again? Next year, if it was raining.
Next time I have a hot bath.
All right, fair enough. You in the hot tub.
and the hot tub and Doc Martens, yeah.
I think that you are going to have the best intention in the world to take them back, but I'm going to do Doc Marten update every podcast. I'm going to keep asking you because I think they will just sit there and never be returned.
Honestly, I'll do it. I mean, I'll do it just out of principle because you just said that.
I want video proof. I want proof on your story.
But also, I did from a previous episode. We talked about the skateboard. I found the skateboard in my mum and dad's garage. It's sitting in the boot of my car.
We need some video footage of you on the skateboard.
I'll bring it in.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is, because obviously last week, because of what happened, unfortunately, our schedule's been thrown off a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we're recording this on the Tuesday. We plan it to go out tomorrow, so everyone will receive this on the Wednesday. But to get us back to our weekly Tuesday schedule, we're going to be recording another one later this week with a very exciting guest as well.
Yeah.
So once we've finished this one, I will go home. I'll get the skateboard out my boot and I'll bring it down here so it's ready for later in the week.
Why don't you just skate down here?
Because I will fall over and I will break my ankle.
Fair enough.
Because he's got an ankle and a coccyx, which both need to be extensively protected.
My coccyx injury is fine now. Yeah. Context.
I'm not asking any questions about
context.
Sorry, so hang on. So back to Tazo.
Yeah, but also, I don't want people to think I'm weird with a coccyx. It was coccyx injury was...
It's a bone at the base of your
I came
spine.
off my jet ski like years ago, last year for my birthday, and I milked it for a while, didn't I?
So back to Tazo. Yeah. So how you first became aware of him when you got these CDs, or was there a myth at school or at college, or like where? Because I didn't grow up in the Northeast, so I'm aware of Makina. I'm aware of like you know the Blue Monkey, the New Monkey. And we'll talk more about that with Tazo. But just and I'm going to come with you the same question. But for you, where do you feel like you first began to know about that? Because it would have been before Instagram, Facebook, all of that kind of stuff.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't fully remember. I like everyone knows of Tazo. Like, do you know what I mean? So I don't know when it was, but I've always, it's nostalgia as well, isn't it? Because you think back that when you were.
Can you quote like a favourite Tazo rhyme? Like, can you think of your favourite one, or is there a certain, just even, I'm not going to get you to do it, but I just mean, like, is there a little quote or something you can think of from a CD pack that you had that you're like, oh, that's like...
I don't know off the top of my head, but I know...
He was too busy writing his own sweet lines, mate.
But I know the guys down the Loose days, when I said he was coming in, they were like, please get him to play. There's a song, obviously, that he does, the guys absolutely love, so I might get him to go down there and... where is it?
But yeah, so same question to you.
Yeah.
Like, where does your...
Sorry, part 10, like PT10, I like literally going to get him, get the lads to...
Get a video.
Come ask him to do that.
Yeah, we'll get a video.
Yeah.
So when
Asbam does his photo.
Where does your, like, history go back to? Where do you remember, like, Tazo in particular, or that scene, or where does it start to touch?
Because, like, obviously it was, like, the After Dark.
Yeah.
Originally. And then the New Monkey. And
the Coliseum. And
the whole like, Makina and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not with that one.
Yeah.
Like,
why?
Because I'm an absolute sweaty grebo, mate.
Goth.
But I remember, like, obviously being like 12, 13, the Sony Walkman phone.
Yeah.
If you remember that bad lad.
Yeah.
And like every single person that I knew, hung about with, went to school with, listened to the New Monkey. That's literally what it was. Everybody was in the New Monkey. Apart from me, who was listening to like Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park and stuff. So like, I'd never necessarily got into it. And I think it's mad because like, the stories and stuff, which I'm sure we're going to hear a lot of on this podcast. But like, even from like my mate's side, man, like, just like, I remember like going to my pal Mickey's house and like, he would just, these two 1210s, Mike, going windows wide open in every room, and just him hanging out the window, proper going for it in the street and stuff, you know what I mean? And just
here we go.
It was just mental, mate. But now every time I think about it, I just think of that, have you seen the video of the kid with these playground set?
Yeah.
That's what I think of now.
It's changed, but it's changing within the Newcastle club scene. I mean, it's always been a northeast thing, but that's historic. But like, even in the more mainstream, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful manner, but I'm talking about Face Melter, like one of the after parties for Loose Fest. I'm talking about that sound within your Saturday nights, like at Digital, sound, that harder sound, that bouncier sound, that faster stuff is coming back again.
Yeah. And thank God, because Ollie James, who we'll have to get on in a future episode, can now play some of our gigs.
Well, he's come from a different direction, hasn't he? He's come from like an EDM, like big rave kind of like thing, and then but it's sort of meeting again. I mean, even like touching back to the like the New Monkey didn't start with Makina. It started with like old school house and stuff like that, and then they kind of moved around. But there was points where stuff was getting played where it was like, so Makina's really only big in Barcelona. It's like Spanish hardcore techno, and it was played up in the northeast, but it was mixed in with like trance, it was mixed in with like hard dance, old classics, Italian piano sort of stuff. So it's like it's interesting that like all of these music scenes, and then, you know, Shaq now with Nana Makina doing his own stuff, and then these scenes all kind of bleed in and out of each other, and the music sort of slightly melds together, and it's interesting.
It sounds great.
Well, it's faster and it's harder, and ultimately it tends to reflect what's going on in society. Like, that's the thing. Like, punk was born out of, you know, out of like, you know, recession and youth feeling like the country or the economy wasn't working for them hard enough. And I think after the pandemic and after what we're going through with Brexit and everything else, I think that's a scene that we're coming back to again, is the youth of today feels underserved, and they feel like they want to have fast, hard music that lets them get their aggression out. Do you know what I mean? And I guess that's something that we'll, you know, we can touch on with Tazo. And so he was, I mean, we can talk about it now because there's no surprise to not be a surprise. But on the day, they were going to do a special thing in the Trick Arena, which was going to be Patrick, Ben, and Shaq, and Tazo and Stompin'. And that was going to be something that was going to happen on the Trick stage. And then what happened, like, for anyone who didn't get in, what happened at Digital later on? Like, what was kind of put together with Shaq? Yeah,
well, I guess first, anyone who didn't get in, sorry. Obviously, like, the whole aim was to get stuff out there so everyone could have somewhere to enjoy and go instead. And obviously, Digital seemed to be one of the big favourites of the day.
Yeah.
With Shaq and then Tazo and Stompton back to back.
Right.
And it was absolutely brilliant.
And we're gonna ask him about that as soon as he gets in here.
Shout out Stompton as well. He was brilliant. Obviously, I'd had a bit of crack with him the day before because we were getting everything sorted, and then I had a bit of crack after, and he smashed his set. And then obviously I've spoken to him since. Obviously, just said like thanks again for that. Obviously, I said thanks. We're gutted that it didn't go ahead. What they had planned, but he'll be a great guest to get on in future as well, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Keep linking these things together. I've got a couple of questions I'm super excited to ask Tazo. One of the ones I'm going to ask him, which I'm going to throw open to you two at this point, was underage drink of choice. So potentially, I don't know where you might have been or where I might have been, whether it was parentally supervised or whether it was on a park bench, maybe it was somewhere around a mate's house or whatever. But what was your kind of underage drink of choice? So, like it's a sort of thing that might have just eased you into an alcoholic beverage.
I think the first things I can kind of remember drinking was that, like, you get the big bottles like Smirnoff Ice and Blue Wiggins.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you used to get the red square, like, energy drink one.
Yeah.
Like the silver bottle. I think that was probably the main one. I never done the whole, like, White Lightning, Frosty Drax crap, which obviously a lot of people have done.
Yeah.
And then, like, when we were kind of sneaking the drinks and, like, parents not knowing about it.
Yeah.
I think it just got the stage where, like, one of my mates, Dean, his dad, was just like, finding out what we're drinking. He's like, what the fuck are you drinking shite for? And then it was like, he'd give her like 4 cans. You know what I mean? Like,
drink some proper stuff.
But then it was always good. My mum used to do this, like, when I'm not seeing my mum was like encouraging us drinking, but like, in a responsible way.
Yeah.
So she would be like, I'll get you 4 cans for the weekend, like for your Saturday night or whatever. We know which house you're going to drink at. And we know who you're going to be with.
Yeah.
So if you come back steaming after 4 cans, you're either a fucking lightweight or you've drank more than I've give you. So, like, my introduction to it was all right, but I remember, like, people drinking, like, MD 2020.
Yeah, 20, Mad Dog 2020. Oh, the mental flavours, like watermelon and, like...
It's basically like a vape, isn't it? Watermelon ice blast or something. Yeah. The worst one for me that I remember from being young, outside of Ray Nephews, because that was always, like, your birthday shot when you were younger, was a thermal green aftershock.
Wow. Yeah, I had a couple of naughty nights on Aftershock. I think when I first started to drink, I was trying to, like, still trying now, to like appear like credible in some way. And I think I saw my dad drinking bottles of Beck's. Yeah. And it was that thing, like, and I know it sounds even more mental to me, but there's that thing of going back and putting myself in the mindset of like a 16, 17-year-old trying to get served in a pub or standing outside a nightclub and I'm still like this with everything in my life, really, desperately trying to not look like I don't know what I'm talking about. And the idea of getting to the bar and not knowing what I was asking for. Like, now I'd be like, what's that purple thing? Like, whereas then I was like, oh, Beck's. And they'd be like, oh, we haven't got it on draft, but we've got bottles. But, oh, I'll have a bottle then. And it was like, it was the one thing that I knew I could ask for and would potentially be literally served everywhere. Because if it wasn't on draft, they'd have bottles of it. And that was it. And I don't think I particularly enjoyed it at the start, but I was just like, my dad drinks it. That's what I'm having. But yeah, what was interesting? I'm already excited.
There's so many things we're going through. First of all, I was going to say, would it be a cop out if mine was the same as that? Second of all, I was thinking, obviously, I have no problem looking like an idiot and not knowing what I'm going on about with certain things. And then I don't know if I've told you this story. This isn't obviously when I was younger. This is now. But obviously, you do know I like my Disaronno and Coke.
Yeah.
And you know how you said there, like you want to look the part. You want to have a credible drink.
Yeah.
Did I tell you about when I went to Mickey Tate? Shout out Mickey Tate. His stag do back in 2019. I think there was about 17 of us who went.
Wow.
Could be wrong, but I think there was 17. And every bar we went to, like,
where'd you go for this? Where's this location wise? Abroad?
Benidorm.
Give me a clue. Benidorm.
Oh,
Benidorm. I had a mind blank there. So Benidorm.
Right.
So every time we went,
17 lads.
I think so. I think it was that. There's a photo of us all, so I'll be able to count it. But like parents and stuff as well. So it was like all ages. And every bar we went to, it was the same thing every time. They were like, "Can we get 16 pints and 1 amaretto and Coke, please?"
Are you telling me you started drinking amaretto and Coke as a child?
I don't like pints.
No.
Like, all right. No, so sorry, I was just going on to this for a second. Oh, no, this.
Because you would like that. It would be sweet. It's marzipan, isn't it? Like, you would like that as a child. I just don't know how you end up with that as your first drink.
But I was going to say, well, that's obviously, it was just in response to the fact that I have no problem admitting that. Like, and then every time they kept bringing it out, there was like, they brought 16 pints in one.
That must be Raj and Ben as though, because it's just free poured to fuck.
Yeah, I know. Well, but I was, obviously it was a joke. I wasn't actually kicking off at them. They were in on the banter, but I was going, you've done it again. I asked for a pint. Why have you brought me this? Actually, it's not even that cool. I had it in a straw. He was like, why have you brought me this?
But what was the first thing going all the way back? So, like, where were you? What were you like being offered, or what were you buying, or what were you?
So I never drank from a young age. Like when everyone else was underage drinking, I never was, because I still had hopes of being a footballer. So I didn't drink. Like genuinely, I didn't drink. Like I was probably the last one to drink. But I think, if I remember rightly, the first time I ever drank and got drunk, it was a bottle of Cactus Jacks.
What is Cactus Jacks?
It's like a knockoff apple sours, isn't it?
Yeah. Wow. Oh, it was nice. Yeah. I remember the first time I was like,
proper home bargain.
So you can't, like, it's not like you drink it shot. You're supposed to drink it shot wise, or is it like a Smirnoff Ice type thing?
No, it's just like apple sours. Literally the same as apple sours.
Wow.
But honestly, it wasn't soon after that I got into Amaretto. Obviously, I'm a bit more sophisticated now, and I'm on Di Serrano.
Yeah.
But it was Amaretto original.
And you've moved from the Amaretto and Coke to the Amaretto sours as well.
Yeah, I do like an Amaretto sours, or Amaretto.
Treat yourself.
And Coke Zero. But yeah, it was Cactus Jacks was my first one. And then again, like when we did any occasion, when we were younger, when we went camping and stuff, and everyone had the cans of Fosters, I couldn't do it. So it would always be like, I'd get a couple of cans of Fosters, try and look cool, and then I'd have my Cactus Jacks or my Amaretto and Coke. I honestly, I'd just never been a big pint drinker.
I think it's done you well anyway, to be fair, the amount of calories you'll have saved, not nailing pints.
I mean, I don't know off the top of my head what it was, but like, Di Serrano is sugar.
It's just pure sugar.
Yeah. Sugar on sugar. I don't think it is any good for us. Sometimes I wish I did drink pints instead.
We're going to get Tazo on. He's going to come up soon.
I was going to say, first time we've actually recorded the intro before the episode.
Yeah, so this is the first time we've recorded the intro on the same day as the guest. Ant's involved. Ant's going to stay while we have the guest. I've got some questions for Tazo, but if you want to ask any of us any questions, slide into our DMs or stick them in the comments below. If you're enjoying the podcast and you love what we're talking about and you love our guests, share the pod, grab a link, grab that share button, stick it on your social, send it to a pal, help us get more people watching the pod. We'll take a break and we'll be back in a couple of minutes with Tazo.
3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes! We've got, I can't even believe I'm about to say it, MC Tazo in the house. How you doing, mate?
I'm fine, mate. Yeah, cheers.
What have you been doing today? What in a normal, because obviously we're going to get onto like the superstar life of an MC, right? But on a normal wet Tuesday, what have you been up to?
Work.
And what's graft?
So I work for council, gas engineer.
Oh, amazing.
Aye, so I service boilers for a living.
Nice. And is it a busy time of the year?
No, it's not. It's just like an hour. Winter's more busy, but to be honest, it's a council, so you're just ticking along.
When was the last time you turned up at someone's house and they had like a tape or a CD on, like tape, well, show me age there. When was that time that you turned up and there was like from the upstairs bedroom or whatever, and then someone, did anyone, like, and people recognise you and they're like, I can't believe Tazo's here to fix me boiler.
It's getting a bit ridiculous. It happens probably 4 times a week or something.
You're joking?
The last time I heard music, it was a few weeks ago. That doesn't happen that often.
But people genuinely recognise you.
Aye, pictures and that. I'm standing in my uniform.
I love that.
I don't know why work hasn't sacked this yet.
I absolutely love that.
It does happen. That's why I've started wearing caps and that and turning into disguise. But sometimes it's all right. Sometimes it's a bit cringy. And it's part. I bring it on myself, to be honest. I'm not so with all the TikToks and all that. So
we had a brief bit of chat before about the football season starting, and I saw your Gateshead rhyme that you did for them going to Wembley.
Yep.
And we talked about, you brought it up on your story the other day, going to St James's.
Yep.
So what are we talking here? Are you a bigger Newcastle fan or are you a bigger Gateshead fan?
Good question.
Just putting you around the spot.
I have to say 50-50, to be honest.
Right.
So I've been brought up as a Newcastle fan.
Yeah.
My dad, my ma, I've always been. I used to go to the games when I was younger and stuff. Named after Kevin Keegan. My name's Kevin. So
yeah,
it's always been Newcastle, but with us being from Gateshead, I've always went the odd game of Gateshead, and then one of my sons plays for Gateshead, the youth school.
Yeah.
We've got season tickets, and then when we start going to more games with the season tickets, we got more hooked into Gateshead. So obviously I got into a lot of Newcastle matches. I was there Saturday, but I did do a lot of Gateshead matches and all, only because we get the season tickets there for them as well. So I'm probably 50-50. Do you know what I mean? Just being biased because my band plays for them and all.
Yeah.
Fair. Because I was going to say, obviously, if you watch the Shaq episode, and Felix, I think you'll probably ask this question. You ask everyone, don't you? Who did you have on your bedroom wall when you were younger? Right. But obviously that question was asked, and I will come clean and admit that I'm a Middlesbrough fan. Right. So this is where we talked about it earlier, because he's a big Geordie. You were at the match as well on Saturday, weren't you?
Fucking too right, I wasn't it. What a day it wasn't it?
We played 2 games, lost 2 games, and then we've just sold Tuba Rakpom to Ajax, so our best players now are gone. So basically Middlesbrough are fucked.
I thought that was you, like your safe word again now. I was getting really confused. Yeah, I was getting really confused. I think there's something nice about that though. Like I'm a Carlisle fan. I just grew up there. Like, but what I was going to say is I think there's something nice about you getting that juxtaposition between like Newcastle is especially now, absolute mammoth global football power. 50, what is it? What's the capacity?
52,000.
52,000. Do you know what I mean? And then getting like a smaller, more localised football experience
on a good week.
With Gateshead
on cup games and that.
So I went to Gateshead College. So I'd played a few games on the actual stage. I'm a goalkeeper, failed goalkeeper. I made a few howlers on that pitch.
You always see the goalkeeper. We play 5-a-side, 7-a-side, like 2-3 times a week together, right? And I've seen him playing goal for probably 30 seconds.
I'm retired now.
In the past fucking 9 months.
I didn't make it as a goalkeeper, so I've retired goalkeeper. I'm a striker now at 7-a-side. But I've played obviously on the stadium at the stadium before.
On the hallowed turf.
Like I said, I've made plenty of howler on there. I remember when I was under 16s, and I think it was the under 19 team, and we played. Who was it? We played Darlington. And I've told this story to you actually before. Actually, that wasn't on that one. That was on the 4G bit, and it was playing Darlington. And I remember it was under 16s, and I was playing for the under 19s, and we were winning 2-1, I think. And they brought me on for the last half an hour. But again, everyone's 2 years older than us. Bear that in mind. So I come on, and within like 2 minutes, someone has a shot top corner, a dive top corner, and save it, and everyone's like, "Who's this? Like young lad? He's fucking unreal." 5 minutes later, the ball gets played to the left-hand side. The left back runs down the line for Dalton. The left back at the time is Dan Byrne. Plays in Newcastle. Crosses it in. Come out. Keepers! Straight through my hands. Absolute howler. First game for Gates at college with that, and I'll never remember that. That was absolutely awful. But yeah, Dan Byrne made us concede me first howler on that. But yeah, so my memories of playing on Gateshead aren't great.
Are you a footballer?
I used to play, but not like a high level or anything.
Right.
Just like,
I don't know why you nodded at Dean there.
I played with people at a high level.
He used to MC, but not at a high level like that. Do you know what I mean? So it's vice versa across the table.
We're talking on this. Obviously, we do as you'll have seen on the chat one, we do a little intro before. Obviously, we do the main episode. Yeah. And today was the first time we've actually done the intro before the episode. So we started talking. And he asked, and I said I did own some decks back in the day.
Nice.
I wouldn't do the impression for them, but I did.
That was good. First up, first rave. First ever rave, going to, not performing. Yeah. Where was it? How old were you? Give us the goss.
It would have been the Judgment Day.
Right.
It would have been at Newcastle Uni, I think.
Right.
I would have been 14 or 15.
And were these like underage? These were all ages gigs.
I think so, you know. Yeah. But back then you could get away with stuff and that, wouldn't you? And I remember because I've seen a picture. I've got a yellow Adidas jump on. I've got smiley faces on my face.
Nice.
Yeah. There's a group of it. And
it's funny how club pictures have changed over the years, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
When I first started going out, it was like your school pants, your school shoes, and a Ben Sherman top in different colours. Like every birthday and Christmas, you got another Ben Sherman top in a different colour.
I can remember the Ben Sherman.
Do you remember who was on?
That's how you used to get in.
Do you remember who was performing?
It would have been like Bass Generator and that, and that's when obviously I started seeing the MCs and falling in love with the MCing and stuff.
And what was, so we chatted about this at the start of in the intro. What was your underage drink of choice when you were like, just getting into like the scene?
To say that. Basically standing in that Judgment Day queue, would have been drinking White Storm or White Lightning, and And I remember it, and that was it.
That is a good point. We never touched on that before. People did used to do it in the queue when it was like an underage thing, didn't they? Yeah, he used to do that and try and neck as much as possible.
It was more only a backpack then, that.
Yeah, you can never do that now.
You could never do it now. There's too much police and even security dormant that they wouldn't let you. But back then you could do out.
And you are doing an all ages gig. Is it this Friday or is it next Friday? You're doing it at Rainton, right?
Yes, not this Friday, but next
Friday.
We are bound.
And have you done quite a few things at Rainton?
I have, yeah. I've done overs there. I've done unders, but basically the unders seem to be taking off at the minute there because they're getting good numbers, and they're getting like thousands in, to be fair, because there hasn't been many unders for years.
And I was watching. I've seen it before, but I was watching the Two Monkeys documentary as preparation for this little chat.
Yeah.
And it was one of the things that, like, I don't think I realised about the New Monkey was that was a kind of all ages thing at one point, like, because the way that they ran it was that it was a members club. Yeah. But that was the thing, like, I didn't quite realise about it, that there was people there, 14, 15, 16.
Yeah, they didn't sell alcohol, so that's how they got round it,
Yeah.
They sell pot noodles and ice pops.
That's exactly what they say in the documentary.
But they did search and stuff, so you couldn't take drinking and other stuff, so...
Yeah.
That's how they got away with it, So.
Absolutely naughty. People drinking in queues.
Every week.
Really?
Every week, 6 a.m.
So is that the one that was in Horden?
Pallion. Pallion, Sunderland,
Yeah.
They got away with it for years and years and years, and then eventually they got raided, and I was just like, you can't be doing this, man.
You can't be doing it.
What the hell? So I left the Monkey before all the raids and that thing. I started a day event called the Hangar, which was where you could drink.
So is that Hangar 19?
Hangar 13.
Hangar 13.
The Hangar come on the scene. It was exactly the same kind of thing, but it shut it free, but it sell alcohol.
Right.
So
you can get drunk and you're home earlier?
That's right. the drink wise.
Knee teeth stained off the ice pops now, mate.
So I think the Monkey had its day. Don't get us wrong, it was amazing. That's where my career did start there.
Yeah.
Just young and then. But obviously when these other ones start jumping on as well, like the Hangar and other stuff start opening up, that's when it started getting a bit more.
So you had to pull something together with Shaq for digital on last weekend.
Yeah.
Talk us through how that happened. Like, did Shaq give you a text? Like, talk us through what you kind of, from kind of getting the message, talk us through how that whole kind of thing panned out that day and that night.
So from the morning, obviously, I'm saying the morning, it was about 10 to 12, I got the phone call off Shaq. He was the one that told us first saying, it's been cancelled.
Yeah.
And I was like, shut up, man, you cracker, you know. And then obviously, he was like, no, I'm being serious and that. And then obviously, my phone never stopped after that for people saying, and I was like, all right. There was a group of 12 of us, so we just went around the local bar where I live in Felon.
Right.
And we're just sitting in there, well, what we're going to do? All the lasses were dolled up. All the lads.
You should have seen the state of town, mate. Honestly, it was incredible.
Right? Especially the same day as a home game, and it was mad.
Yeah.
Like.
It was meant to be crazy, wasn't it? So we were like, what we're going to do? And obviously Shaq rang us and says, right, they're going to open Digi early. Are you game? I'm going to get Danny Stomping to come along, and are you still game to come out? And I says, well, we've got anywhere to go.
Ready to go.
I've got these dresses on, got the hairs done, to spend fortunes. My lasses, they made him. I says, look at me. I says, what time's it opening? He went about 4. I says, right, well, we've got a few hours anyway, we'll just stay afternoon and then we'll just head straight to Digi. I went, well, by the way, I need 12 people in with us. He was like, no worries.
No worries.
Send us the names. Sent the full names. Then we got the minibus hour, seen the queues all the way up. I was like, oh, well, all right with me, we're just walking. Got in, and then just sardines, and it was just that atmosphere. As soon as you walked in, I was like, this is going to be mint, this.
Yeah, because I don't want to bring the tone down, but obviously, like we spoke on it as well on the night, didn't we? Like, obviously, we were fucking heartbroken. Like, obviously, like we beat last year's ticket sales as well. Like, it was, we were so proud of the fact that it was going to be an incredible show. Obviously, we know what you guys had planned. It was going to be insane, and then obviously, when it all sort of unraveled and we got the news, we were devastated with it. But I think we touched on it on the last episode where we talk about LooseCast. Like, the first thing everyone was said was that let's get these clubs open. And again, it was sort of, I'm going to try and focus on the positive side today. It was like sort of a surreal moment in the city, seeing everyone, like, we had Digital, we had China White, we had Tup, we had Riverside all up. But as soon as everyone found out that yourself, Stompton and Shaq were going to be on Digital,
Shaq put it out there, didn't he? He didn't survive for it, never stopped.
Everyone was like, well, we massively appreciate the fact that you've got places open straight away for us to go, because everyone, like I say, was dolled up and looked incredible. but I want to be a digi. Everyone was saying that, and obviously everyone all day. Like I was with some of the guys for a bit after it all caught, and I was just numb as fuck all day. Like I say, when I'd seen you, I wasn't even drinking and that. I was just like, oh, how are you doing? Like, and saying thank you for doing it. But like, I was numb as fuck. I was looking at my phone every 5 minutes, like, you guys all right? We'll see you're a digi. We'll see you're a digi. We'll see. Everyone was just buzzing for you to be on. And like I say, when I made sure I came down for the time you were on, and like I walked in, and like you were just fucking smashing it, and it was absolutely insane in there. Like,
how many times did you play digital in total? Like, when was the first time you did it?
The first time would have been a Rave, but I can't remember the first time. The best memory I had, apart from last Saturday, was when I done it with Ben Nicky.
Oh yeah.
So Ben Nicky was looking for an MC, and my name was keep getting put to him. So I got a message, and it was Ben Nicky, knee agents, knee. Now I was like, where are you? You're joking? And I says, I'll do it, where are you? He was like, right, no bother. Met him at his hotel, went through what we were going to do, went to Digi, and it was just amazing. That was like my best memory I've had at Digi.
Nice one.
From last Saturday, and I've done it with Shaq and Stomp, and that's up there as well, you know, on Paul. But to be honest, I do it quite often. Like, I probably do it once a month. I've just done it last Friday for another event called Hysteria. I've done it a few times, right? I've done bounce events here, so I've done the McKenna side. I've done, what's it called again? Not We Are Bounce, there's that many of them new. But I've done I'm dropping in the raves there, the names of them there, I know they'll be buzzing. But I've done,
is that as close as it gets to, like, you know, using a football analogy, is that as close as it gets to like a home game for you? Like, where would you consider to be like a home game? Do you know what I mean? Where like you like feel the most comfortable, you've done it loads of times. Like,
I love Digi, like, it's one of the best to MC at, if I have to be honest. Riverside, it's not the best MC at, but it's a different vibe because you've got that open dance floor. Yeah. Just for MCs, for DJs, it's probably different.
And they've got the upper bit now as well, haven't you? Have you seen that now?
Yes.
That's good. Have you seen that at Riverside? Yeah.
No, I haven't been in.
So obviously you DJ in there, or you MC in there, and obviously the crowd's there. Then the upper bit, which was always just blocked out, they've opened that up now, so it's like a little VIP balcony. You know how the balcony was always there? It's that bit as well, front on, so that's added to it a lot. They've done a good job with that.
I'm going to go for a big question. What's more important, MCs or DJs?
It's the DJs.
I was not expecting that.
Should we just leave before it kicks off?
I was not expecting that.
What I will say, in the northeast, the MCs, but anywhere in the world, anywhere in the country, to be honest, if you get the further south you're going, is more DJ.
Yeah.
But in the northeast, if you ask people, they'll probably say the MCs, because I think we have just took our MCs in the last 20 years, or even longer. But I think you need a DJ to be the MC. You know, I mean, the DJ is not playing the right tunes, or you kind of deal with them.
Because I noticed you were kind of complimenting Shaq on going through quick mixing and like getting through tunes and stuff.
Exactly. That's amazing. So I think a lot of McKenna sets, and not many DJs mix that quick, because they kind of get the bars, they kind of get the beats that quick, which they probably can't, to be honest. But I'm not saying they're being lazy, but I think Shaq took a lot of risks that night. He was just quick mixers, even if he didn't have them, and he was thinking it, like, if you know anything with DJ, and he was still dropping them in. And when he didn't have the beats match, he was doing just live in the mix. And he said he was going to do that anyway to get more tracks out. But
so did you go straight in, pick up a microphone back in the day? Did you get decks and have a go at that? And or how did it become the thing? Like, how did you choose? You know what I mean? Like, you know, when they talk about, you know, you're saying your son plays with Gateshead, but you know, when you've got like, you hear about the Nevilles and that, and it's like, oh, he was quite good at cricket, but he did choose football. Like, at what point did you go, I'm taking the microphone, not the headphones?
Good question. So basically, I don't know, off getting tapes, that's how long ago it was, off my older cousins, and I used to listen to music and say, this music, it was venue music then, like Italian and stuff, and I was like, I like this, but the MCs, I was just like, that were like exciting. I was like, this is what I want to do. So went to like stuff like, there's a place where I live called the Deckham Centre, and a lot of older ones used to have the decks and the mics here, and we used to go after school and that, and I'd be like, I want the mic and stuff like that, and I end up getting the decks, but obviously I could DJ, but then I'd rather let me mate DJ and me MC, and then it was just the mic after that. So, but I can DJ as well. Like I've got decks and that. I've got like the CDJs and that and beat match. I can do all that. I just prefer the mic, you know. So,
and this is the exact reason why you need to teach me how to DJ. So can DJ, can't DJ. So I said, obviously I'll never do it properly, but I said, like, as a sort of a thing on the pod, I'm going to get these to teach us how to DJ, and then like one episode I'll do like a little 3-minute mix that nobody else will do.
I'll work out Canny as well, because I'll get to learn off you now, because I've got a fucking clue what I'm doing.
Has anybody been like successful, like this might be a ridiculous question, DJing and MCing? Like, does anybody try and do that? Just anybody try and do them at the same time?
It's been asked before, though. I like one of them headphones with a mic on.
Well, I would.
Like an absolute raj version of Britney Spears.
There's no one ever done it, but it has been talked about.
Right.
It has been people say, imagine like a DJ and MCing, like beat matching and MCing at the same time and stuff, and no one's ever done it, but it would be good to see, aye.
That would be. That'd be difficult, that though, wouldn't it, surely?
I think so, aye. Because you obviously need to, how could you be MCing when you're getting the beat matching?
Yeah.
But then once you got the beats, I suppose you could do a bit MCing, drop the mix in. But if it starts running out and you're MCing at the same time, you're not going to hear it like running out, and you'll be like, do I push or pull?
So when you were younger, right, and you were kind of like wanting to get into it, and you made that choice, do MCs, I've never tried to MC, I'd be terrible, but do MCs get like an hour mix with no MCing on it and then practice over that? Or do you only ever do it live when someone's DJing? Or did you have, mixes that didn't have MCing on that you practiced over? How did you like?
That's right, aye. So basically I had a karaoke machine, 4 decks. Used to go down the key, there used to be a store, the key.
Yeah. I remember it,
Well, I mentioned before.
Yeah. And most of them had MCing, but you did get the odd one where they didn't have MCing on. So one tape sticks out, Selector C, which is a big name in the Makina scene. Colin. And he had a set of like just tracks, and that tape, you put it in one, you hit record on the other one, and you MC'd in this karaoke machine, and you just practiced over the top of that. This is the days before decks and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's how we got run that bit, aye.
Have you got a favourite rhyme? Have you got one that you just love the most, that you bring out all the time, that's like, have you got a personal favourite?
Aye, well, I've got like a signature rhyme now that wherever I go, people seem to know, like, aye. But that's only been here, I don't even know when I made that one up. See, the last 5 years.
Would that be the most requested one as well? Like, do people like get the phones out and like...
Not so much now.
Right.
It does happen now and then. Like, you will get the odd person, like, with a beginning of a rhyme.
Yeah.
And you'll say, see that one, like Tazo, will you? And I'll say, then the buzz off it, and you do. And I like it sometimes, because half of them I forget. Do you know what I mean? Honestly, I've got hundreds and hundreds.
Yeah.
I've got a book, and I've got hundreds and hundreds. And you do forget, because like I just do live. A lot of MCs MC with the phones in their hand. I don't know if you've ever noticed that.
Yeah.
So they can see the beginning of the rhymes, but you kind of do that when you're live. I'm just like there, and it's all up there.
Do you do a bit of homework? Like you've said there, you've got a book. Do you ever like, you've got a gig that night or whatever, and you're like, I think I'll just pull out an old one, and like, do you ever go back and
begin the rhymes on my phone as well?
Right.
So like, say before I'm going on. Give me secrets with you. She's going to end up catching us. Not that I'm seeing on the one, But anyway, I've got the beginning of each rhyme in my phone. Yeah. So I've got like, say, old rhymes.
Yeah.
I have all new old stuff. I have like newer stuff. Just the beginning. I might have a little quick flick through before I go on, just to log them in there.
Yeah.
I'll probably not see how. It's strange, because once I'm up there, just.
But that first, say you've got that first line. Does the rest just come? Not that you don't, because I couldn't be a singer in a band. I would forget the words all the time. Because you been a singer in a band.
Yeah.
How did you do with like learning lines and not learning lines, but learning songs, learning lyrics?
When you're doing your own music, when you're writing your own lyrics, that's not that bad. The worst one for me is like when we were at college together, just to make some like a little bit of lowy on the side, like make some money on the side, would do like the club scene. So like, we would do like the social clubs, you know what I mean? Yeah. So you'd be like, Dean having that like Kaiser Chiefs cover or something. You start to sing and you're like, a couple of pints before, and you're like, I've got fucking no idea what this is. And you forget. So like, that was the worst for me, was remembering songs that you would have listened to anyway, you probably heard a million times, but I would just forget the lyrics of the obvious ones. But like stuff yourself, plus it doesn't really matter, because you can just make it up or just start screaming like a divvy and just get away with it. So it wasn't too bad.
You're going to get in trouble soon. You're breaking one of Felix's 2 rules. What? There's a lot of table banging going on there. Oh, he'll get in the... he's getting excited with us. We need to...
Dean's a big Eminem fan.
Don't judge us. I'm like...
No, I wasn't this... No, I'm just... But do you reckon you could...
I'm like... I've seen him 3 times. I buzz off Eminem.
Do you reckon you could roll out, like... if you had the instrumental of the beat, do you reckon you could roll out word for word, like
songs?
A full...
Oh, 100% I could. I'm like sad as out. Like,
That's not sad. It's not sad.
You know Stan?
Yes.
I'm worse than that. I'm cringier than that.
It's autobiographical.
I could tell you a story where it's really cringy. But like, I just know the words to all the songs, and I'll tell a bit of that story then, so don't make myself sound too bad. So it was Tea in the Park years ago, and like, I'd ended up at the front of Eminem. And like
it forced his way. Fighting through. People died.
I'll tell the really quick version of the story. So it was T in the Park, and I think it was Eminem was headliner, and before him was Stereophonics, and before him was Paolo Nutini. So
what a weird way
to
get Eminem.
I know. So obviously Paolo Nutini came on. I'd said to all my mates, I was like, I'm going to make my way to the front, and they're like, you're not going to get to the front. Like, there's thousands of people here, and like, there's no chance. I was like, watch us. Anyway, Paolo Nutini was on. You know the song "Pencils Full of Lead," where everyone's like jumping around. All these big Paolo Nutini fans are jumping around. I don't really care. I'm like slaloming through them all as they're doing this. Getting near the front, Stereophonics comes on again. Everyone's loving that. Not saying there's anything wrong with Stereophonics, but I don't know many of the songs. So again, I was like, not really.
Not much rapping in Stereophonics.
I was like, I was forcing me. Anyway, I get to the front. Like, I somehow get to the front, right? And then in between Stereophonics and Eminem, everyone's like, you know, when people push forward at a gig, so everyone's pushing forward, and people are like starting to get crushed against the thing. And like people are like coming and putting hands on the barrier to try and like pull themselves to the front, and people are like whacking the hands going, I've been here since 11 a.m. this morning. I'd literally taken like an hour to get there, hour and a half to get there, and I'm like, yeah, get back. So I'm at the front for Eminem. Anyway, I'm just enjoying myself. I'd had a drink and I'm singing all the lyrics. You know when you're like at a gig and like the first few thousand people will obviously look at the person on the stage. If you're like a good bit back, you normally look at the screens on the side, don't you? Because they're too small on the stage. So everyone's looking at the screens. I'm appearing on the screens quite a lot because I must be like that freak who knows all the words when everyone else is just enjoying themselves. So you see me on the screen and I'm talking like a lot. No, I am, because like afterwards we get back to like our campsite bit and like one of the lasses is like, oh, did you get to the front then, Dean? And I'm like, yeah, why? And she's like, oh, you just think if you got to the front, they'd like see you on the screen or something. I was like, yeah, I get it. I was on loads. But anyway, at the end, he comes out and they're about to do the encore, and the guy comes over with the camera and he goes, oh, you know all the words, don't you? I was like, yeah, why? He's like, we're going to put the camera on the crowd. We're going to put it on you. Can you just rap for like 20 seconds? Like, and I swear to God, like 20 seconds was a long time when it was, I mean, it's nothing for you. But like, I was like, that's easy, that. It was like 20 seconds on us, and I just like, his palms are sweaty, knees, and I'm like doing all this, and he's like recording. You can see it on the big screen. I was like,
also, Eminem's not on at this point.
No, like it is, but they're doing like bits of the crowd to break it up. But the worst bit was, it was like one of his albums had just came out, and he, do you know when he did Love the Way You Lie with Rihanna, that was like the biggest song at the time of his, and he typed in EMI on the whole of YouTube. You didn't have to type in Eminem, you didn't have to type in Eminem Love the Way You Lie, you typed in EMI, and the first thing that came up was a thumbnail of me like that. I got a football and everyone was like doing all this to like, oh yeah, I got some stick for that, but yeah, I do like Eminem.
I was really hoping
was the short version of that.
I was really hoping the end of the story was they got him on stage to rap with Eminem.
Or like when Dave did that with it. Yeah, no.
That was me.
I know. Have you ever done that to anyone? Have you ever got anyone on with you?
Oh yes.
Have you? Because I was going to say before you tell that, shout out to, obviously we just went and seen the guys in the Loose Days office there, but shout out Bammy, Asbam and Tom Breyer, who were like some of your biggest fans of it. Like, part 10, they were like, we're playing it, they were like, get him a come to it, we know it word for word. So like
that's that rhyme, what you were touching on.
Right, okay.
People call it part 10 because it's out on the socials as part 10,
right,
on the music socials.
Well, they said if you ever need someone to come up, Asbam and Tom Breyer will come up with you and do it.
Well, that is the rhyme I get people up to date with.
Right.
That's like, I say it's the most popular rhyme. It's the one I can start and then we'll finish it. But
yeah.
I date more the unders, to be fair. Like, you can have it's just like a little young one at the front. I'll get them up.
Class.
And they'll dig it in the buzz of it. And
so rhymes-wise, is it a case that you sit and literally physically write them in your own house, or is it that you do something live and go, oh fuck, that's good, I need to like remember that and like build on it and whatever? So how, like this part 10 one, for instance, were you sat in your house writing it, or did it sort of manifest itself through live gigs?
That rhyme, I honestly can't remember how I made that rhyme, but I'm glad I did, because it's the signature one now, wherever I can.
There's number one on Spotify as well, isn't it? When you type it in on Spotify, that's your main one there.
It's done millions, honestly. It's done really good. When I write, it's a bit of both.
Okay.
When I'm freestyling, because you do freestyle a lot live, you have your rhymes, but you'll end up saying something, you think that sounds alright, then you repeat it. You look at the crowd, like I bounce off the crowd, then I'll say something else and I'll repeat it. But in between jobs at work and stuff like that, I'll just get my phone out and just write verses in and like I'm back of it.
So as you're driving to fix spoilers, you're writing these rhymes that are going absolutely incredible. My pal's there, my really good pal, mine is like a stand-up comedian, right? And he talks a lot about people like stealing, borrowing other people's material. Do you know what I mean? So you might go to like another gig and you see a comedian, you're like, that's my joke about, do you know what I mean? Whatever. So I wanted to ask that question about MCing. Is it something where you kind of like, you ever hear a different MC do something and you're like, oh, that really sounds like so-and-so?
100%.
Or is there a point like bands where you can cover, like, could you do something from another really well-known MC from back in the day and people are like, oh, it's class, he did that thing from like whoever, but it was like Tazo doing it. Like, how does that stuff work?
I think a lot of commercial MCing is like that anyway. Obviously everyone does the oggy all that stuff. What I do with some of all that stuff, I'll put my own spin on it. So I'm not really ripping it off, say, an MC from up the north east. There could be an MC from anywhere. Yeah. Like chant stuff, I mix it up a bit and do my own stuff on top of that. Yeah. But a lot, I think sometimes you do listen to other MCs and you think, well, I see that. Do you know what I mean? And probably people might say, I think I'd do to them and stuff like that. It does happen, but not often, because I think it's
no like massive fallouts. There's no like MCs round the back. Do you know what I mean? Giving it fucking no.
You're not pinching word for word. You're not pinching rhyme for rhyme. It's just them have thought of something that you thought of, and vice versa. That sounds very similar, and it might be the same kind of bars you're seeing it and stuff. But there's never been out where like he's ripping me him. He's ripped me. I've never really had that or ripped anyone like that.
I was going to say, nowadays you've got such a big following as well. Nowadays I feel like social media, somebody would call it out for you, wouldn't they? Like you can't do that.
I'm going to jump on that because I've been checking out your socials. TikTok versus Instagram. What's better? What's better for you? What gets better engagement? What's better for your fans? Like, what's better for your like material?
Well, I've only been on Instagram since Boxing Day, so I haven't even had a year yet. So I've never been into social media, to be honest.
Right.
We've got 10.
I've got 10K a day
already since Boxing Day. That's fucking unreal.
So I've done alright. Now knowing what I know, Instagram. Right. But I've been on TikTok 2 years now. 2 years. And I only went on TikTok was just after COVID, when COVID hit. So and anyway, because I got banned and then I come back again. Oops.
What did you get banned for?
I left the comments on, and it was, what was it again? It was when England won the Euros. Right. Remember when they were playing Scotland?
Yes.
I did. Yeah. And I left the comments on, and there was a lot of English arguing with the Scottish.
Right.
Also, wasn't even you involved?
Oh, not me. I never wrote anything. I never did. Right. If you look at my TikTok, I don't follow anyone. Right. And I don't have the comments on. So it just saves us getting banned. I can never... On TikTok, I'll post a video. Yeah, they look around going, shake that. Or you're going, that's all right, like. Yeah. And that's the way I've had TikTok for years. But when I first had TikTok before I got banned, I left the comments on in the while arguing and TikTok banned us. So when I appealed it and went, well, it wasn't me. They're arguing about England and Scotland, and bear in mind I've got a massive following in Scotland. I'm always up there and stuff, and I like respect the Scottish loads, but it was nothing to do with me. Yeah. So I got
a weird thing though as well for like an MC to be banned over football banter.
Well, it was a rhyme about like Jordan Pickford, right? England number 1, who's from Sunderland. Obviously, I crack on with him and stuff. So he likes the rave. Yeah. So like we're like quite pally through that, you know. So it was
the famous picture of Jordan Pickford with his short back and MC stomping, isn't it?
Exactly.
With his haircut, and he's just had his haircut, and he's about like 14 or 15 or something. He's got a picture on his Twitter, and it's like short back and MC stomping.
See, who you saying mediocre football? Me and Jordan used to train together. Jordan's a year below me, so obviously he used to train because he was Washy lad, wasn't he? He was St. Roberts, so he was best mates with Reese, who Reese's dad was our manager for Horton Keeper, Horton the Spring, and obviously we used to train that. So there we go, training with the England goalkeeper. Mediocre.
Never once said mediocre.
I said it myself.
But what I know now, I would say Instagram, because Instagram you can tag people in. Obviously, I'll leave me comments on Instagram as well. Yeah. You can tag people into stuff. You can meet more people, kind of thing. Well, there's not following anyone on TikTok. I kind of tag them in and stuff like that. It's a bit different, but
it's a lot more professional Instagram and all, isn't it? Like for like a work platform, like.
It is. So I would say I've enjoyed Instagram now. Obviously, it took us a way to learn how to do it. It was what last made it for us on Boxing Day. We were sitting there. She went, "Why don't you have an Instagram account?" I went, "Oh, I don't like talking to people because I didn't." I didn't. Yeah. I've never had Facebook. I just didn't agree with it. So she was like, "Oh, you don't have to tag them, man. You just follow who you want to follow, and you can, if they send you a message, you don't have to." And I was like, "All right, tell us more." And we were sitting there drunk on Boxing Day, and it was Boxing Day, and it went up and it just blew up straight away.
Class that.
I was like, "Actually, it's alright." And now I've learned how to do reels and stuff, and like obviously last weekend I was down Doncaster Warehouse.
Yeah.
Like then when I got up, I'm gonna tag you in it, and I was like, "Oh, aye," and it's good stuff like that because I met people from there now, and. Obviously,
it's so much better for MCs. Like, I mean, you were talking about before, and I totally agree with you. Like, MCs to me, I wish I was an MC in a sense because you're using your voice, you're connecting with people in a more visceral manner than just standing behind decks and playing music. Yeah. And obviously, for an MC, someone just taking like a 20-second, 30-second snippet is incredible. Like, as a DJ, a 20-second snippet's pretty rubbish unless you've got incredibly high levels of production in the club, and they're behind you, and it's the drop, and then everyone goes mental because there's like, you know, like Elro with like, you know, confetti and everything else. Yes. Just 20 seconds of me DJing is incredibly boring, but 20 seconds of you MCing is totally interactive, and it, you know, and you know, you can emote far more emotion by your words than you can just by, you know, playing some beats. Tricky one for you. Newcastle versus Sunderland. Crowds. Who's better to play to?
That is a good one, that, because I do Sunderland quite
if we use this clip, we need to turn the comments off. We don't want to repeat again, do we? We don't want to be losing any accounts.
See about my Instagram. Fine again. I'm just going to see it's 50-50.
Love that. Love that. What about Middlesbrough? Actually, I don't even care.
He said 50-50.
I think we're a good crowd as well. Like,
really? Well, I'm not from Middlesbrough, so I wouldn't get offended. I just, unfortunately,
anywhere in the North East, I think the North East, they're not really bothered with the football side.
No, they're not.
Fair.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like when I got into Sunderland, they're not like, "Hey, you're Geordie."
Yeah.
And vice versa. A lot of Sunderland people come to Newcastle for the big raves. It's North East, innit? You're there for the same thing.
And we said this in the last pod. We said like the North East feels so supportive, isn't it? I've always thought. I don't know. I'm assuming that's the same for your journey as well. Like,
it is.
Everyone's so supportive, and like you say, you forget about tribalism and the football crack when it's supporting people. When the football's on, all hell breaks loose. But when the football's not on, everyone's just supportive of people from the North East, aren't they?
It is.
And that's why it's the best, I guess, isn't it?
I want to know what the maddest thing you've ever seen in a nightclub is. I'm going to let you think about it, and I'm going to go to these two. So, maddest thing you've ever seen in a nightclub, and you've got to have seen some things, Dean. You've run nightclubs for years. What's the craziest thing you've seen in a nightclub?
I don't even know. I mean, what are we talking? Fights? Are we talking like
anything you like?
Shagging? Are we talking
anything you like? Have you seen people shagging in a nightclub?
Sometimes the music gets the better of people. Do you know what I mean? I'm singing in the background. People are like,
if anything, gives us the rhythm.
It wasn't me shagging, by the way. I don't even know. You know, like that's the weirdest thing I've seen in a nightclub. I don't have that. I mean, there's some funny towny stories from over the year, but like you'd have to know the individuals, so that's not going to do any good. I mean, honestly, don't know. I'm going to pass that answer.
Anything new comes to mind?
There's two that come to mind, but honestly, if I say one of me mental fucking murderers, and if I say the other one, I think people might be sick.
Can we do the one that might make people sick?
Legends nightclub, a male, a female, a bottle of Corona and a line.
Right.
It's so mate. Yeah,
that would be an incredible club. Did you go Legends back in the day?
Yes,
that would have mint mint for. Did you ever perform there?
Yes,
did you? I was going to say that would be unreal. There,
they used to do the Sundays.
Legends was a good venue.
I can imagine.
It was called Clash of the Titans.
I remember really,
that. And it was always chocolate.
Yeah,
and it was mint. It was mint for the mic.
Because we touched on it the other episode. So our Sunday that we've done for 11 years, Persistence. That's Tup Tup, Palace, Lozier, and the Cut. Years ago on bank holidays we moved venues, and we used to do it at Riverside on some of them, and then for 1 year we did Fort Legends. And I said, like, the only times we ever did events at Legends, and I thought it was incredible, like the layout, it was amazing. We touched on that a little bit because you DJ'd there quite a few times.
Yeah.
But I was thinking there, like, imagine that, because again, it's one of them, it's like digital, isn't it, where there's a big crowd in front of you. I think that'd be sick, that, for MCing.
I remember when like the MC and stuff, like the harder stuff used to happen at Legends, because the crowd obviously were a lot different. Like, I always found that, like, the crowd that kind of goes to events where you'll be at are, like, they're not out, like, every weekend. They don't go to bars every weekend. Like, they save it for these, like, raves and like, they just don't fuck about. So I remember at Legends, we done, like, a Saturday, and there was an event on the Sunday. And on the Saturday night, like 4 o'clock in the morning when we had done, they were pulling, like, all the drinks out of the fridges. I'm like, what you doing? They're like, no, he's like, not tomorrow. They're like, tomorrow, he goes, if I sell, like, a blue VK, he goes, I'll get cold worse and shit. He goes, it's WKDs. It's Smirnoff Ice. It's like knee red square vodka and out like that. Like, you've got to have a premium branding, because they would just refuse to drink the shite. Because they go out, like, it's once a month. Big party, go out, and they just don't mess about with it. So they would have to literally pull, like, every VK or VS or whatever, like, shitty knock off out the pops it was, and it had to be, like, the premium ones had to be the best of the best. They just wouldn't touch it. Like,
do you have you over the years ever, like, suffered from any kind of performance anxiety? Like, have you ever sort of, like, felt uncomfortable on stage? Have you ever felt like anything, like, over the years of partying and MCing, like, any, like, mental health stuff that's come along? Or, like, is that anything that's touched you?
No, I've seen a few things, like, mad things when I've been performing. Like, I've done an event up Blythe. I can't remember, it was just being at that bar or something new. And in the middle of me set, just MCing away, just all the windows got put out, and you were just continued at first, and then I thought, actually,
did they not even stop or anything and close the club?
The music was still pumping. I had any door stuff on out. It was just like a mad, crazy bar. I'm talking a lot of years ago. This was, and just the windows, like the windows, window, and the music, and, like, I was stopped, and everyone was just like it was normal. That was an experience, and then I realised, actually, no, take up money in a way.
I was really hoping there you were just going to be like, and then I incorporate it into me set. About it.
No, I took the decision to leave. The music was still going late. The DJ must have been told just keep playing.
No
like
way.
I said, there was no, like, door stuff, and you want to run out and say, look, it's in, maybe it's the barmaid or something, maybe been flapping, but I don't know. That was quite.
So going back,
I was a bit uncomfortable then. Now that I had to go outside where it was all happening.
What was it in the end? Do you know? Like, what
it was Blythe?
I got in the car. I wasn't driving. Jumped in my mate's car, flew it, and just got back again.
Don't even need to know. Just get away from it.
Yeah. That was like in the early days, like when I was doing more bars.
Have you ever been in a club when it was being, like, raided before? Do you know what I mean? Like, I know back in the day, some of the, like, you know, the famous ones got raided and all this stuff. Have you ever been in a club performing or in a club raving when it's been raided before?
No, I've been in clubs when police have come in.
Right.
In numbers as well, but they've never raided it. They've walked round the dance floor and stuff in. They haven't tried to stop the music and that.
Okay.
I've never been there when they've raided. Stop the music, it's a raid, everyone out and, you know, I've never
because they mention it in that Two Monkeys documentary, and they sort of mention, like, the guys talking
maybe
about.
Said I never left. But I had left probably about a year before that happened.
So I know you've mentioned, like, you know, your less than that, so I'm going to be respectful of that. But back in the day, anecdotally, who do you think got more girls? The DJs, the MCs, or the doorman?
Back in the day, probably the doorman. That was taking them off the MCs and the DJs. Who will one of the extras main new?
But that's the thing about doorman. Like, they stand at the door and talk to the girls as they're coming in. Do you know what I mean? They're in the club, they're talking to girls. DJs don't. You know, like, you're talking, and you obviously. I mean, MCs is maybe a little bit different, because how long would you, if you're performing on a big bill? How does it work? Do you do, like, 20-minute sets? How does it work? Like, how do you, like, rotate?
An hour set.
Right.
So you get your set, it'll be like an hour set. It can be 45 minutes, but it's normally an hour. You'll have a time slot, 12 to 1 or 1 to 2. They'll have other MCs on, or sometimes there's not, there's just, like, DJs and then you come on. And I do host stuff as well where you're on and off. So I'll introduce a DJ, say a few things, come off for like an hour or two, have a few drinks, jump back on, introduce another DJ. That's more like what's happening this
Raining, okay, Riverside, got you.
Is that with Robin? Is it? Is that with Robin?
Robin's advertising it. And stuff,
because we saw that. Obviously, like we said, we had Robin on for episode 3, and we said that we've seen he'd done a cool little thing on social.
2 MCs on, me and another lad. I'm not sure. It's the first time I've heard of his name, but he mentioned it the day of the promoter. He's asked me to headline the main headliners.
Nice.
So the 3 of them. So I'll be on and off with them, and then that'll be like just on and off. So there won't actually be an hour and an hour.
Yeah.
I'll have any voice left, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'll just be introducing, getting the crowd going, seeing a few things. letting the DJ perform and so on.
Well, we have said as we walk down not to put pressure on it because we'll have obviously a proper chat in future, but we took them down to the Loose Days guys, and obviously like I say they're a big fan, and we said obviously that was the first kind of experience we've had with yourself at one of our things last Saturday, saying we definitely need to do, especially when the freshers come. And obviously Digital's getting its little refurb now, which we're excited to see. When the refurb's done, obviously we'll be doing the weekly stuff there. We'll definitely have to do something together there for our networks, because I think I say like the reaction was ridiculous, and everyone's just been going nuts for it since. So we'll definitely have to do something there. And what, could even do something where we link everyone in.
We could try.
I'll stand at the bar.
I want to ask you for a dream lineup. So I know that, like, ultimately a lot of times you stack things with DJs and MCs, but I'm going to allow you 2 DJs, I'm going to allow you one other MC to MC with you, and a venue of your choice. So this is MC Tazo's dream lineup, 2 DJs, one other MC, and a venue. What you saying? Dream lineup.
What? Say though in Makina, what are they all commercial?
It can be
a dream lineup.
Dream. It can be anything. It can be.
This was going to be.
It's a great plug, but I'm still, like I say, I'm still numbing.
It'll me for asking you that question now, as if I've set it up.
So basically, when Shaq told us about what was going to happen at LooseFest, this was no secret now, because it was going to be Shaq, Ben Hemsey, Patrick Topman.
Yeah.
So, wow, do you know what I mean? All 3 of them play Makina for me and Stompman.
Yeah.
I think Shaq said 8,000 people in that tent.
Yeah, it will have been.
Now that is a dream lineup to me, because my biggest crowd's 5,000 that I've done, so it was going to be an extra 3,000 ravers on the town moor. I'm from Newcastle. Yeah, 5,000 crowds at Glasgow.
Right.
That was going to be a dream lineup. You know, the only person missing that would be Ben Nicky, because I've still got to give him respect for giving us. That was me 5,000 crowd. So,
well, do you know what? We'll spin every negative into positive. We've got a year to get it all sorted again, and add Ben Nicky to the mix as well. There we go. I like that.
So LooseFest,
Yeah.
So back on LooseFest next year.
Love it.
We'll leave Shaq out, because
Hey, look at the camera when you sit that
sorry, Shaq, even though you sorted it out for it. I'm gonna go on Patrick Totten,
brutal,
Ben Hemsey, me 2 DJs.
Yeah.
And then we'll go on Tazo Stompman.
Nice.
Perfect.
On the town moor.
Nice.
8,000 in the tent.
Well, I was going to say,
off.
Obviously we're absolutely fucking gutted about it, and obviously again it doesn't help. The rain's just continued since, hasn't it? As we're saying, well, apart from ironically the weekend, it stopped raining. There was nothing that would have changed with that anyway, but it stopped then. But the last couple of days have been horrendous. But we have said obviously we're working behind the scenes constantly at the minute, getting everything sorted. But 2024, obviously we've got to come back with an absolute bang again. So that is definitely something that we all want to try and make work again. Because like I said, that would have been amazing when we first did that first podcast with Shaq, and we talked about it. Obviously we didn't mention on air what it was, but it was mentioned to a couple of the guys when he was saying, and like everyone was like, that will go down in like Northeast history. Like it really would have. And like I said, good, but we'll make it happen. Just
thought of another one, just hide it in there.
Of course.
So,
do I need to write this down for notes of what we need to watch?
I've always wanted to do the arena.
Yeah.
Never done the arena, full capacity arena. Always.
Well, I'm sure that's going to happen pretty soon, one way or another.
Sure there.
Yeah.
To get back into Shaq.
See, I was going to say maybe, you know what I mean?
Felix, can you edit that previous 2 minutes?
Shaq all the way. So Shaq, Ben Nicky, Metro arena. That would be.
Yeah, I think that's very likely to happen.
That would be another dream, and then I can retire after that.
I don't think you're anywhere near retiring. Favourite Newcastle player ever?
Ever?
Yeah.
That's a rough question, that, you know.
Who are you saying?
Pavel Srnicek for me, but only because I was a keeper growing up.
Right.
I would say that.
And that iconic kit, you've got that jersey, like, it's absolutely class.
Yeah. I would say that Rob Lee, for me, Robert Lee was just so underrated, and he was just fucking a magician to watch.
I think David Batty in them days.
Yeah.
Like, for underrated, David Batty was amazing back then, but he wasn't ever. I got Alan Shearer.
It's gotta be, it's gotta be.
I mean, it's an easy pick, but Alan Shearer.
I think we play with Ollie Bernard on the Mondays. He plays our game on a Monday.
He's not quite a legend, though, is he?
He is. He's my favourite Newcastle player because we play with him. He still is now. Obviously,
John Barrett's fan, mate.
I don't know how old he'll be now, but he's still. You never lose the brain, do you? No. Like, he just pings it. It doesn't matter if he moves or not. He just pings it, and you never lose that. Like,
favourite ever Borough player?
We know. I've already said Massimo Macaroni. I mean, if you're not a Middlesbrough fan, I don't even know if everyone even knows who he is. But it was the year we got to the UEFA Cup final. You know, back in the day when we were good and we were actually in the Premier League, and we got to the UEFA Cup final, and we ended up getting beat in the final by Seville 4-0, and they had like Freddie Canute, Dani Alves at right back before he went to Barcelona. But it was, you might remember, it was the quarter final and semi final over 2 legs. Both games we were 3-0 down, and we came back both games and won 4-3 in the last minute. And both games in the last minute, Macaroni scored. So, like, as soon as that happened, like, he was every Middlesbrough fan's favourite player. We had some team, though. Hasselbank, Viduka, before Newcastle stole him from us.
You could have had him back straight away. I remember he was like injured. He was meant to be injured on crutches and that. And I remember going shopping in the Metro Centre once, and he's walking in the room with like 2 like hands just full of shopping bags. And I was like, you used to spend your wages well enough, like.
Well, Hasselbank, Viduka, Yakubu, Mendieta, Zenden, Janino, Downing. Like, we had South here. Yeah, Janino was unreal. Like, it's mad. Like Middlesbrough's captain.
You have Swartzer at the time as well.
Swartzer as well, yeah. And then obviously McLaren got the England job, and Southgate got the manager job, and just never replaced the people we lost, and it just all went downhill. And here we are years later, and yous are all absolutely buzzing how well yous doing, and we're getting beat 3-0 by Coventry.
So, know what you were saying about the band before playing football?
Yeah.
So, are the bands getting into the idea of taking the Tazo reins one day, or?
Not really. The little one's 6, the oldest one's 9. So 10. He just turned 10 July. He's a bit more the older one.
Yeah.
If it's like on in the car and stuff like that, or any kind of music and that, he's a bit like. But nah, there's more football them too.
Yeah.
And I always find this interesting. I guess same for DJs as well. But like, do you enjoy listening to yourself back, or is it too work?
Normally,
is it too
to be
work
honest,
mode?
It's if I do a set in the studio, they're the only ones I really do listen to. I'll listen to it once just to make sure I'm happy with it and stuff like that. It sound that. So like if we went camping the other week and I had it on, and that's how the kids, I was like,
class.
Like the oldest one will sing some of the stuff and that. That's when I do listen on the way to stuff like that. But no, I don't listen to myself. No, I'll you'll laugh at this. I think MC spoiled the music, to be honest. not live.
Yeah, no, I get it.
But like obviously when I listen to stuff in my car, I listen to like Euro dance and proper cheesy dance music and stuff like that. Me, like all different kind of dance music with them saying. That's the stuff I'm into.
Yeah.
Dance music and commercial stuff and that. But obviously I just do the MCing because I love it. They didn't get it wrong. They didn't spoil it when they're live.
Yeah.
You know I mean, us MCs do make the music better, I think.
100%.
So someone's watching now, some young kids watching now, and they want to be an MC.
Yeah.
What's the advice? Like, how would they get into it? How could they practice? What do they need? Like, I don't know if anyone's asked you this recently, but like, what advice would you give to someone who was like, I'm watching this, I'm desperate to be an MC. Yeah. How do I go about it? Imagine you're talking to Dean.
Aye, so
We've established I've failed as a footballer and a DJ. So I'm going for MC.
Basically, what I would say is be original. So if you, depend on what kind of music it is, but see, it is the stuff I do. Look at all the different MCs it is, because there's lots. You know what I mean? There's like 10, 20 more up the MCs. Look how you can be different to them. Try different voices. I know it's hard to say that, but like try to put your voice a bit different with MCs and be original, really. That's the only advice I could give. Didn't really, what we'll touch on earlier, copy off people and put your own spin on it. The odd things like commercial rhymes and that stuff, but like proper rhymes, make your own rhymes up. Try and be original. That's what I would say. Try and be original. And it's not all about the rhymes as well. Try and be, if you do get set, interact with the crowd and that.
Yeah.
Because there's been MCs that's come through over the years where they're going, you heard this new kid, best MC is going to be in the Northeast, and you listen to the set and you think, wow, them rhymes are amazing, they're better than mine. I've never heard rhymes. But then you'll be in front of a crowd, you do all these clever rhymes, and the crowd are going, what's he saying? Like, what's he saying? Instead of getting a hold of the crowd and that. So that would be a bit of advice as well. Didn't just think about rhymes, think about how you can interact with the crowd and all, and do the clever rhymes at the same time.
Yeah. I was going to say, it must also help when, like, you have such a big following. Because like I say, if you think when we put about who was playing that night, and Tazo was playing, like everyone's buzzing, so straight away you've got like they're buying into what you're doing straight away before you even start. So I think that's good. That's probably one benefit of social media as well. Now that you're on the Instagram, isn't it?
It is,
because everyone can see the stuff and they know what they're coming for.
Instagram, which is better than TikTok on this sense, is like if I'm out at a rave, like last weekend I was. You get pictures with people, then they tag you in it.
Yeah.
And then I share their tags on my story and then buzz off it, you see. So, like, if the youngins or older ones, you know. So,
is there any new MCs, like, just any young MCs that you could shout out? Anyone you've seen recently?
He's not young, well, he's younger than me, but Letrix is an MC that's come through the last couple of years.
Okay.
But I do a lot of stuff with him. He's got the clever rhymes. His studio sets always do amazing. But he's starting to interact with the crowd now. He's starting to... And he's probably going to be the next big thing, definitely.
Nice.
Another year's time, I reckon he'll be like, 100%. So.
All I was going to say is just the exact point you made there. I was going to say shout out Luca from LooseCast. Obviously, he did the videos the other day, he said, and then obviously when we went down, met in person. It's like, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Just interacting and meeting new people and stuff. So, no, I mean, well, again... It's been... We said as well, because normally we probably don't do as many questions, but we were all like, we're really intrigued. We've got like a lot of questions today.
I think if we didn't get questions in, people, I think we'd probably have a
bonus for
not
asking these questions. So hopefully in future, whether it's in the build up to LooseFest 2024 when we announce that you're going to be on properly, or after LooseFest 2024 when we talk about, hopefully when we come on and we can have you on again next time if you're up for it, like there won't be anywhere near as many questions because
there'll be loads more.
There will be more.
Well, a lot can happen in a year, so there could be some new experiences along the way.
Very true.
And obviously, I looked at your socials. There was no clue to me that you'd only just joined in the last 6, 8, 9 months. Yeah. But if people want to find out more about you, where can they head? Do you know what your social
so obviously TikTok, Instagram, Spotify. I'm doing well on Spotify now as well. SoundCloud. I'm on Apple Music. It's just MC Tazo. Search for that. I haven't really smashed YouTube yet, but I have got a Vivo account, which has got a few videos on. I think I need to do a bit more on Vivo because a lot of the people that follow us like to see it in studios with a camera as well, but similar to this.
Yeah, I've seen it. I mean, the stuff that you've put up recently looks incredible, and I think I saw your posts a bit like behind the scenes and stuff. How did you find doing that? Because you mentioned before about really vibing off the crowd, and I think it's something as a DJ that I've always really felt the energy off a crowd, and it's not something that I just really practice at home anymore, and I probably should, all jokes aside, but I mean, like, it's that energy off the crowd that I vibe on. So when you're in a studio and it's a little bit more of a kind of
more chilled,
how did you find that
when I first started doing the studios? It's because we've only been doing them a couple of years. I haven't been doing them very long compared to doing live performances. It was a bit funny at first, in it took a while to get your rhythm in, and stuff, but the videos I do like that and stuff, it's all rehearsed. So I know what I'm going to say, that's not freestyle, and then I know. So I'm there to basically, well, not do a job, but I know the track, I know the rhymes that's going to happen. So you just, as you can in the zone, and you know it's going to come good in the end anyway. So basically, I still enjoy it, and obviously it's not live performance, but I know the end product's going to come out, and people are going to watch it, learn them rhymes. And when I do go live,
it's a big circle, isn't it? It's a big feedback loop.
It's just more commercial. Again, doing something different. Like, it's only been like the last year I've been doing the Vivo kind of stuff and that, just to notch it up a bit, And Spotify, I've always had like SoundCloud, but now when on Spotify, it's branching out. Like, obviously, like, I get more played in London than anywhere, and I think, I've only MC'd London once, and that can't be just because that one time. You look at your stats in London, Londoners love MC Tazo, it's mad.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Then it's like Newcastle, Gated, something, and it shows you the lowdown. China now. China's gone mad for that.
China's gone mad for Tazo.
Some English teacher in China now. Like, so if you want to learn how to do English really fast, MC Tazo.
Put it on and slow it down by 10.
20.
Right, mate. Well, thank you so much for coming in. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll definitely get you back again soon. So thank you very much, man.
Legend. Thank you very much.